I've been having so much fun creating tumblers with sublimation and giving those as gifts that I wanted to share with you. This is an image of one I've actually created for myself after making several gifts, and I'm going to show you how I did that. I first started in the Silhouette Studio software. You'll notice this is a different design. I'm going to show you both of them, but you can see I have made several of these for gifts, and I'm just printing it from the Silhouette Studio software. Now, the first thing you're going to see is the print preview, and then I have to change my printer because I have to change it from my inkjet to my sublimation printer. This does require special equipment in order to do it. So now that I've changed my printer, it's reset everything, and you can see on the print preview now my margins are going to print everything for me. I really am enjoying playing with this printer. Here I'm changing some settings. I wanted to show you that I'm printing on letter size, and then I hit OK too soon, so I decided I needed to go back. I really like to choose the print preview before I print it, so I have one more chance to catch any issues before it goes through and uses my sublimation paper and my sublimation ink. So here's the print preview with the Epson. And then you're going to go ahead and click on the print button, and it'll go print to that Epson. Sublimation prints are faded. You do not actually see the original or the final colors until you have completely pressed that or applied the heat and the pressure to it in order to get those colors to come to full life. So what you're going to see here is one, that any text is printed in reverse, and then you see some muted colors. Now the shadows in my room are kind of playing with this too, so when I back up you can kind of see it's brighter. Here is the compass design of the original tumbler that I shared, and then you are going to cut that print down to size and heat tape that as much as possible around that tumbler. You'll see that I have heat tape. It's a special tape, and I will link all the supplies I used in the description below. But you want to really get that heat tape, use a lot. That was one of the biggest tips that I found from Heat Press Nation. Use a lot, because if it doesn't turn out, your blank is a dud, or it can really affect that outcome, because sublimation is permanent. This is one of my favorite parts of the process, is shrink wrapping it. So you want to try and get the shrink wrap. I'm using a high temperature heat gun, and you want it to get as smooth as possible. My shrink wraps are a little bit larger, so you're going to see some wrinkles there, but so far I have not had any issues with that. However, if you get that heat gun in one spot for too long, it will start to bubble that shrink wrap, and that can affect your final outcome because your shrink wrap isn't tight around there. So I just try, and I'm learning. I've made about 10 different tumblers, and so far they've all turned out really, really well. So I really like this process to be able to give gifts. I did teacher gifts. I've done some friends gifts, and the ones you're seeing here in this video, I created for my mom. She doesn't find many things with her name on it often, and so I'm able to create stuff like that, and I really enjoy being able to customize and personalize things with the different crafts that we do in the hobbies. So this is the second one that I am shrink wrapping. I kind of learn as I go along, try to get that wrap as tight as possible. In this case, I actually cut the sublimation print a little bit, so there is actually no seams. The print wraps around fully, so I was really tickled when it turned out with that compass and the flower design, because it kind of overlapped in the original image. And then I placed it into my convection oven. I had purchased this at Walmart for 400 degrees, and I did 6 minutes turning after 3. And then this is the next satisfying part for the video, and I'm a little off camera here, but you'll see it as we go along. This is a time lapse, so it's sped up a little bit on this first one so you can see, but the unveiling of the final print. It's one of those things that you really don't know how it's going to turn out. You cross your fingers and you hope that you did everything right. And, you know, sometimes you don't and you just get a dud. I've been very lucky so far in that all of my tumblers, the skinny tumblers, have turned out. When you get into the odd shapes and sizes, I'm still learning on that one. Some of them have had some issues. I still haven't perfected the coffee cup yet because that's an odd shape. So I just really enjoy watching as it's taken off and unveiled. These are very, very hot, so I let them cool off.
Love it.
And I just really love the look of these.
Love being able to make gifts.
Now on to the second tumbler. I finally found a design that I really liked, and this is the compass one that you saw at the very beginning of the video. It was a little bit more challenging. It was a little bigger than the actual circumference of the cup, so I had to cut around it. As you will see here in just a minute or a second, the top flower design kind of overlaps onto where the middle section is. So I just cut so nothing was overlapping and then worked with that, and it turned out really, really nice. Here's where you can see that flower at the top, and then as I unwrap it, you're going to see that it kind of overlaps onto the area right there in that center design. So I just cut it and then taped it.
This one is a matte finish versus this one is a glossy finish. So there's the difference between these two. Kind of like this matte finish. I wasn't sure I would.
Between the shrink wrapping and the unveiling, I find this one of those satisfying moments that as you peel that off, you see what the final project is, and I'll fully admit that I do a happy dance when things turn out. Now, not all projects turn out. I've been very lucky with these skinny tumblers because they're straight-sided, so it's pretty simple.
Oh, I love being able to do stuff. All printed in the Silhouette Studio software. It's a sublimation print. I will put the link up below. Love it. Difference between matte and glossy.
And here are the final tumblers. I often forget to take pictures of the final product before I give it out as a gift, and that's what I did with this one. So this is the only video I have before I gave it to my mom. And then I finally settled on a design for myself. That is probably the biggest thing that holds me back from making things for myself, is finding a design I really like. And this one just jumped in my cart and I really liked it. I am so thrilled with how it turned out with that overlap on it. I hope this sparks that creative energy in whatever crafts that you do create, whether it's sublimation or something else. Just create. Thank you for watching.